doing a segment on how the baby formula shortage is affecting young families. There's like no formula inside here. If that's affecting you or maybe your friends, or a lot of young parents know each other.
Yeah, it's affecting us.
I see every store is shortage. They don't have no milk. And it's hard for single mothers out here.
Tonight, panicked families are struggling to find formula to feed their babies. A devastating shortage has left supermarket shelves empty across the country.
Our elected officials are not making any big effort to intervene or to make any kind of progress in solving this problem. They're largely ignoring it.
Parents and politicians are slamming President Biden for failing to do anything about it.
Does it make you upset that children can't eat in this country?
Of course it does.
And it's just not anything that I ever thought I would have to worry about.
It truly is just sheer panic.
Empty. It does seem strange. We are living in America. I've never seen rationing or shortages before for food.
Yeah. No, I never see that.
Well, from recalls to plant closures, inflation, and supply chain delays, the nationwide shortage of baby formula is causing a lot of stress, specifically for moms.
You don't have days, weeks, months to figure this out. You have hours.
It seems like people aren't thinking about moms and children who are running this country. What's your message to them?
I just hope that the moms are able to provide for the kids.
Welcome to Walmart, ladies and gentlemen. We are in front of Walmart for this episode of Benny on the Block, talking to the mothers, fathers, and patrons of this store where hundreds of millions of mothers shop every single year in America, asking, what about the baby formula shortage? Like, what's it feel like to not be able to feed your kids or to find the formula in order to feed your hungry children? What's it like to have a rationing? Is this real? Can you actually see the empty shelves? If you wanted to go to the store, could you find any?
Not really. No.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. And what's behind it all? It must be incredibly frustrating to look at an administration that seems to be turning their back on you, from everything from inflation to the open border to crime to skyrocketing food prices, and then insult to injury, no more food for your children. Never in my lifetime seen rationing for mothers of hungry children.
Never.
Can you think of a greater insult? Have you ever seen rationing and starving children in America in your lifetime? No. And the reason why is because this is a very special moment. This is America in decline. Joe Biden's America in decline. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this week we are going to be asking the parents of Walmart and other grocery stores in the greater Tampa area, what do they think about not being able to feed their children in Joe Biden's America? I really can't wait to hear what they have to say. Let's go find out. We're just asking parents if this shortage and there's rationing inside, there's like no formula inside here, if that's affecting you or maybe your friends, or a lot of young parents know each other.
Yeah, it's affecting us.
If you wanted to go to the store, could you find any?
Not really. No.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. We are living in America. I've never seen rationing or shortages before for food.
Yeah. No, I never see that.
Yeah.
I never saw that. When I grow my children, everything was in the free, almost for free in the market. You can find everything, and now everything is expensive, and everything is getting short.
Yeah. Even the milk, if you're feeding them regular milk, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Never in my lifetime seen rationing for mothers of hungry children.
Never. And milk is so expensive. So it's hard. I see every store is shortage. They don't have no milk. And it's hard for single mothers out here to even buy. Some can't produce milk. So it's hard for us to be able to give the kids the nutrients and stuff that we need.
Any mom who has had to feed their child in the middle of the night knows that it's hours between feedings. And when your child is awake and screaming and hungry, and you're dependent on that formula in order to feed them, to keep them alive, it's a crisis.
There hasn't been a can to be had in over 2 months. So I have enough to get me through the next week, and then it's on to plan C. I've already blown through plan B of switching to a different brand.
Not in my lifetime have I heard about rationing and shortages for food in America. This is kind of crazy in America.
I mean, they need to have better standards to make sure that they don't need to recall their formula.
Yeah.
And also, there should never be a shortage. I don't know what you can do about that, but they need to do something because, I mean, that's food for a baby and you can't really make that.
I was in the car today for 4 hours. The 7 stores I checked personally, none of them but one had my daughter's formula.
So it's really hard. I've looked everywhere.
Empty. Effective immediately, all formula sales are limited to 5 units per child. There's nothing going on. There's nothing here.
Parents and politicians are slamming the Biden administration's response to the country's baby formula shortage.
It's absolutely crazy because it's not on shelves anywhere. I have to get it shipped in from family members.
It's crazy. Let's all work together because these are babies. You know, they gotta eat.
Isn't that the number one thing to provide for your children?
Yeah, so a lot of, we just gotta improvise. Try to give them, like, you know how we have regular food?
Yeah.
Try to implement that in their diet somehow. Since there's nothing else we can really do.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, some mothers are not lucky enough to produce milk. So it's hard.
Outrage and anxiety ballooning for parents nationwide amid signs that babies are suffering as this formula shortage drags on.
This is a crisis for us in healthcare.
At this Memphis, Tennessee hospital, 2 children were hospitalized for intestinal illnesses after their parents could not find the formula they needed.
As the mom of a 4-week-old and a almost 2-year-old, it is really devastating to see what's happening and to see how lightly it's being taken. Like our elected officials are not making any big effort to intervene or to make any kind of progress in solving this problem. They're largely ignoring it.
These companies are saying that there is enough formula out there, but for some reason it's concentrated in different parts of the country and not necessarily where people need it most.
My family's from Mexico, so they're coming next week and they're bringing some formula from Mexico. If my family didn't come, I'd be very, very worried.
Baby formula. This is in Publix. Publix is typically stocked out. You won't find a more beloved brand in Florida than Publix. But it looks like all this is empty.
It's extremely concerning. You know, we're not necessarily trying to ration out because they need to eat.
You know, the times that we're in right now, it's already so tough living in the world that we're living in. So to not be able to feed your baby or find what you need is really heartbreaking.
You have that mom guilt where you don't want to necessarily take it as soon as you see it on the shelf for fear that someone else, and take more than one even. But at the same time, you have to feed your babies, and it's like, what are you supposed to do?
Does it make you upset that children can't eat in this country?
Of course it does.
Yeah, it is terrible. But again, I mean, it is something that, I mean, what can you do, you know?
What's your name?
Say Ava.
Ava? She's upset at this interview, saying this is a very, very difficult topic for Ava. Get Ava food. So that's the sad and tragic story here in America, the richest country in world history, the most prosperous country in world history. No baby formula. Moms can't feed their children. Moms walking into the stores finding nothing on the shelves. We went to 3 different stores today. We couldn't find anything. We talked to a lot of moms today. We even showed you a little bit of my family about how much a kid eats. My family is blessed where my wife can breastfeed, but many mothers can't for many different reasons. And so what are their kids gonna do? You're gonna starve them out? Stuff is sick, and it really makes my blood boil as a parent, sitting there watching the dismissiveness of this administration. You know, it's so upsetting to see how these often childless or horrible parents who run the country, how little they care about real, active, working parents who are the cornerstone of this nation, and the children who they are bestowed upon by God to protect. These people are sick, and they don't deserve power. That's been this very hungry, very thirsty episode of Benny on the Block. We hope to bring you better news next week. We'll see.